Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Don't stop. Get it. Get it. It is Friday. You know what that means. It is Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits coming on as you know when Black women do. We come on when we get ready to come on. So here we are, 1:15. And if you don't know who we are, ladies, we are the Black Coffee. Our lips drip with honey. Sometimes it got a little grip, but we always have Sass Class and all that. As I will toss the mic over to my ladies to introduce themselves, Carmel and then Dr. Jamesia.
Hey, I am Coach Carmel. I am coming to you from New York City. I work with folks, usually online, virtual, who have come to realize that maybe they are craving sugar a little bit too much for their own good. Or maybe they know look, I'm just addicted to sugar and food. And I work with them in adapting a whole food, plant-based lifestyle in order to combat those cravings and whatever chronic conditions that might come along with it, like fatigue, pre-diabetes, the stuff. And I'm also here to encourage you to add more plants to your plate. So over to you, Dr. J.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Jamesia, the nurse practitioner extraordinaire. I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach, YouTube influencer, speaker, author, all the things. And of course, 1/3 of Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits with these lovely ladies. And I'm happy to be here on this lovely Friday. Passing it to you, Mike.
Yes. So I am Maisha. I'm known online as Devi Maisha. I am the founder of Black Lotus Tantra, Sacred Sexuality, and Sex Magic for the Healing, Power, and Liberation of Black Women, and also the owner of Sensual Energy Alchemy, where I provide one-on-one coaching, workshops, teachings for women who are ready to dive into their sacred sexuality. And today we are talking about our modern relationships built to last, especially for those of us over like 45. Are they built to last? So I didn't have anything prepared, but I just look as there's an account that I follow on Instagram, Glorious Broads. And I love listening to these women. They interview women who are in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, their 90s. And these women are talking about life and relationships and the lessons that they've learned. Now, it could just be the women that they're interviewing, right? Sample size, who they decide to talk to. But a lot of these women, some of them, I've listened to them in their 80s and they're like, I'm having the best sex of my life. No, I'm not married. No, my boyfriend does not live with me. We just see each other when we see each other. And that's kind of it. There are very few of them who, once they get past the age of 60, are like, I need to be in this kind of me and him together, like when we're in our 20s, like we're looking for. So I wonder, first of all, what does a modern relationship even look like for women over 50, right? And are we still looking for the same things like in our 20s and 30s? Is that built to last? So I'm just curious. Let's just start there with your thoughts around, are we looking for the same things? Well, we can only speak for ourselves, right? Are you looking for the same thing in terms of a relationship structure? And do you think that that's built to last in our age?
Fundamentally, I think that we are looking for the same thing. We're looking for companionship. We're looking for love. We're looking for that person who makes us smile, that gives us butterflies. I think fundamentally, we are looking for the same thing. Now, you threw in structure in there, and structure looks very, very different at every age, every decade, right? And it also looks different for the person who wants to maybe start a family versus somebody who's already had a family, or somebody like me who most likely will be coming into a relationship where he has a family and maybe had former, families with more than one woman. And I remember there was a time in my life that if a dude had a kid, please, could you just not even say hello? Could you just keep walking? Right. And then I got into that age where, okay, he's going to come with a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old. Now I'm at the age like, well, if he comes with a 2-year-old, that's fine. If he comes with a 20-year-old, that's fine too. Like, I'll take it. And not to say that that's desperate, just to say that, listen, because love and relationships are so not structured these days, and there are really no rules. Anything kind of goes. I'm willing to go with the flow and work with what you got, and let's just be adults about it. I feel so. I have a few more things to say, but I'm just gonna close it right there and let Dr. J chime in or whatever.
I was enjoying what you had to say. I'm like, finish it up, girl, because you know how we are. We didn't forget. But
Yeah, write it down or something,
I know,
Carmel.
right? So,
Even though I heard it talking about memory on one of her reels, but go ahead, write it down.
are we looking for the same things that we were in our 20s? And um, I'm gonna, and Carmel pretty much say, yeah. Ultimately, I'm gonna say no. I'm not. I'm not looking for the same thing. Back in my 20s, 30s, I was looking for someone literally to save me, honestly. I was looking for
Mm.
somebody to have more structure, somebody to have so I was looking for to start a family, all of those things. Now I'm past that in this age. I am, like Carmel said, I'm okay with someone coming with a family already. I'm okay with um, them not having the financial structure as much to that I was looking at back then. I'm not looking for the warm and fuzzy as much as I was. I'm looking for someone who I'm compatible with, have a partnership with. I'm more mature in what I'm
Mhm.
looking for and what I need. And not only am I not looking for it, I'm not looking for all of this happiness to come from someone. It's more or
Mm.
less me doing the things that make me happy, me setting up my life the way that I want to live it with someone else. Um, and I'm sure that we're saying the same things, just saying it a little bit differently. But I think that right now, because we have so many resources as women in this day and age, no, we have options. And I can't say
Yeah.
that because we're more modern that we're going to last longer, or because we're less that we're not going to last. I think now, as women, Black women, we just have more resources to make different decisions. I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna leave it right there. And with that, I think with that, sometimes we make relationships last, and then also sometimes we use it as a scapegoat, the resources I'm talking about, to not make it last, to oh,
Mm.
because we don't have to stick in there. We don't need the other person. We don't, I mean,
Mhm.
so I think sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot
Mm.
because of our resources. So let's leave it.
Yeah, you know what? I can so resonate with what you're saying, Dr. Jamesia, because I feel like, okay, so the question of the day, are modern relationships built to last? And it's not so much that the relationship itself is built to last, it's like, how are we built? How am I built? I've never had a lasting relationship, right? And I feel like in a way, I wasn't built to maybe even withstand the longevity of a relationship. I grew up watching a super independent mom, and dad was around, don't get me wrong, dad was in my life, but they didn't really co-parent. Right? Mom was the parent, dad made the money. In the evenings and weekends, dad was the pal, like dad's home. Yeah, he came bearing gifts, and on the weekends we spent time, but mom was the disciplinarian. So I say that to say I saw my mom get in the car and go whenever she needed to go somewhere. I saw my mom do the food shopping. I saw my mom make sure that the bills were paid. And I feel like I grew up like that. And I remember one of my guys, he broke up with me. He was just like, I don't feel like I have a place in your life. You pump your own gas, you make your own money. What do you need me for? And I felt like I'm I'm built in a way that my relationships won't last. Of course, ultimately there are caveats and things around that, but uh, that's where I was going with that. So I'll throw back up.
I'm gonna back. I know you want to say something,
No,
right?
no, no, no. I'm loving hearing this. Go ahead.
Okay. And so, because of what you said, Carmel, about that, I think that the rise of independence and self fulfillment um, may have eroded some of those old thoughts about relationships,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, Mhm.
I think that we no longer want to be dependent on someone because we're in the relationship. We want the relationship for not for dependency, not for fulfillment, as far not, I mean, you do want it for fulfillment, but what I'm trying to say is we no longer want that. I feel like we more or less at this age want a partnership, companionship, and someone to grow with from where we are, not from 20 years, 30 years old, or whatever. It looks differently. That's what I feel.
Does and it feels different, Dr.
Mhm,
Jamesia. It feels like, no, I want you to be with me because I want you to be with me. Not
mhm,
so much kind of like, I want you to be with me because, I feel warm and cozy in your arms. Even though
mhm,
that may be, it's kind of like, it's a co-companionship. It's let's be in each other's space.
mhm.
And oh, guess what? It comes with security. It comes with love. It comes with the cozy hugs. It comes
Right.
with a lazy Sabbath Sunday afternoon watching TV. And that's like the bonus.
Yeah.
I'm loving all of this, and yes to everything. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we each determine if what that modern relationship looks like for us, right? I have seen for women over 50, it is very different. The things that we may be looking for, we are wiser, we are older. Um, we still, our generation, and I'm interested to see what will happen with the women who come after us, but we still were, most of us were still raised with the idea of needing a man for
Very much.
some level of financial support more
Very
than
much.
anything else. And as we've gotten older and shifted and our careers have changed and we've had opportunities, men and women of our age group have had to adjust to the fact that that no longer exists. And I think that that's been, like when we talk about modern relationships, it's not just us. I think it's been an adjustment for men because they've also been taught that this is
Yeah.
it. This is what, like, this is all they have to do. So they don't need to give any warm and fuzzy hugs and communication and all that. As long as the bills are paid, everything's good. And now we're like, nah, I can do that. So I need something else. And now they're having to figure out, well, what do you, what do you mean? Like, now they're having to up their game in areas that no one ever taught them. And I think that that becomes the issue. And then yeah, so what does a modern relationship look like? And again, for women our age, most of us are very able to take care of ourselves in one way or the other. Okay, whether you've got lots of money or you know how to work the government system, you know how to take care of yourself by the time you are in your 50s. So then what does that relationship look like for you if you take that piece out of the equation? And Carmel, you said a lot of that. Now I also thought for myself, I was like, I don't know that I don't know what the built to last part means. Last for how long?
Mhm,
I don't
mhm,
Mhm.
think I'm
mhm,
someone who was meant to be in one relationship for my entire life.
mhm,
Right.
I that just doesn't feel, that doesn't feel right for me, and it was never ever what I was ever looking for. I like the experiences of different people, so I like, and I've struggled with it. Like, do I want to be married? I should want to be in a relationship. Is it that I'm afraid of being in a relationship? No, I really just don't like being in a relationship with one person. I don't want you coming to me with all of your stuff. I don't want to have to deal with all of your things. I don't want to have to deal with all of your family. I hope you don't have kids. I hope they're grown and gone. I don't want to be somebody else's mommy. I don't want to deal with any of that. I want to be selfish,
mhm.
Yeah.
honestly, right? So, you could be here
And
for a year.
quite frankly,
Huh?
you're allowed. I said, quite frankly,
Right.
you're allowed. And many women our age are so allowed because you
Yeah,
spent so many years caring for other people, other human
right.
beings, and caring for your man and being a part of all of that. Now it's kind of like, I
All
don't
of
want
that.
anything I have to feed. I don't want anything that's gonna, distract me from what we have here, me and you.
Yeah. I don't want to think I have to come home and cook dinner.
Mhm.
Like that ship has sailed, right? And I
Yeah.
didn't like that ship when I was on it, when I was doing it. I didn't like it to begin with. Right? So for me, a modern relationship now for me looks like companionship. It looks like we're together. It looks like we're enjoying each other's company for however long that is. I don't need it to climb an escalator. I don't need to move in with you. I don't need to buy property with you. I don't need to do any of those things. But I need to know that you are consistently in my corner emotionally. I need to know that the sex is going to be an amazing connection. I need to know that you can get along with my children. I need to know that we respect each other and that I can get along with and respect yours. Those are the things that I need at this point. But a lot of the things that we were taught to look for when we were younger, whether someone actually telling us this is what you do, or we picked it up from society, that stuff doesn't apply to me.
You know what, Maisha? It just brings me to a personal, what's happening in my life personally, where there's somebody in my life where I get along with great. I don't see him often, but when I see him, it's a really wonderful time, a good conversation, just a good time. And then I'm really, really okay. And I found myself explaining this to somebody, and then starting to kind of hear. They weren't judging, not even a little bit were they judging. However, I found myself judging myself like the outsider and saying, well, Carmel, is this what you're telling yourself, that you don't need anything more? Are you making excuses because he's not offering up more? I started hearing that. And now, because I'm hearing that in the back of my head, I'm answering that before that person might even get the chance to ask it. I'm like, it's not that, I'm just settling. And I feel like, right, when we kind of go against the grain of something that might be expected, especially relationship wise, and what we might expect from a partner, what his role is in our lives, I feel like when we go against that grain, it might be that we're settling.
Why don't nobody ask these questions of men, which is crazy?
Wait, say that one more time.
Nobody asks these questions of men.
Right.
It's like, oh, are you set? Are you? And we talked about this with the struggles of being a woman, right? And it's like, and the very idea, but dude walking around in his 50s and 60s, and people are just like, "What's up, my man?" No one's like, "Oh, are you okay with being alone?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I think too, again, back to the tools and resources that we have right now, there's the internet, there's social media, there's FaceTime, there's all of these options that we have to be in relationships, different, not so modern. They're just whatever we choose, whether he is 3 hours away or on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast, or whatever. We have, who is that? Was that Shirley Ralph?
Yes, married for like 20 some years.
I think it was 40 something years.
Oh, okay, right.
Married 40 something years and never lived in the same house.
Right.
Until now.
Right. Because her career was in LA and he was in government in Pennsylvania. Yep. And I love that example.
Oh, I have a good example too. So I was one of my clients' secretaries, older woman. She's like, my ex-husband, we're seeing each other tonight. I'm like, oh, you're like seeing him? She's like, yeah. She said, we were married, we had a kid. Before that kid was 2 years old, we were divorced. And we recently started dating again, but he's gonna live in his house and I'm living in my house. Okay. And I'm having the time of my life with him. I love that story. I loved it because there's no rules, right? There's no rules. And this is a 10-year-old story for me. Like she told, like this was a while ago. So the modern relationship continues to evolve. And again, it depends on the people, the circumstances. She couldn't be with that man. She found out that she said, I will never live with a man again. If we're going to be together, you're going to keep your own place. Yeah, you could spend the night, but you got to go at some point. You got to go. And I kind of really love that story. And I didn't know that about Cheryl Lee Ralph. But that's, again, it's a beautiful story where my partner doesn't have to be breathing my air at every second of the day. And we can still maintain a relationship from a distance, because what really truly matters is the connection that the two human beings are sharing. So Thanks for that.
That is not at all what we were taught. As you said that, all of a sudden I'm thinking, tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. And I'm just thinking about all of the romantic comedies we watched where we're supposed to be in each other's skin. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I like and for me this is it has been a really important journey because my default was to give up my entire life if a man entered it. So, for instance, if I was going to the gym and working out, but he was going to be calling me at 7 a.m., guess what I ended up doing? Not going to work
Mm.
out or changing my workout plans. Or if I was going to go out with friends and he was free, I'm sorry. I was that friend. I'm sorry, friend. I can't go out. Never asked me to do that. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
that's what I thought relationships were because I thought that was sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that meant giving up everything for the
So
relationship.
was it that you thought that you had to sacrifice that, or did you just want to be in his presence because you were falling in
A
love?
little a little bit of both, but that's not a requirement, right? Like,
No.
you know what I mean? So it was more this is what I thought a relationship was. I thought a
Mhm.
relationship was sacrifice, but I never asked myself what the man had to give up. I just always knew that as women, we sacrifice in relationships and we give up things. And I think I got that from my mother, I look back and, she had all these aspirations of things she wanted to do. She modeled, she sang, she danced, right? But that didn't fit with the family that my father was looking to build. And so all of that in her, got cut. She ended up being, an executive assistant, right? That, secretary. And then she was a really good at that. But
Mm-hmm.
she was so much more than
Mm.
that, but sacrifice, right?
Right.
And being a mother. And so at this big age, 50 plus, it's like I still think sacrifice is an important part of a relationship, but it depends on what's being sacrificed, right? Not my well-being,
Mhm.
not my goals, not my
Mm-hmm.
aspirations, not my
Mhm.
health. Can I sacrifice some time? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I
Right.
think that's what we start to realize when we're older is that there's a difference between sacrifice and compromise, all of these things that no one explained
Mm-hmm.
clearly because they didn't know when we were younger. So now I don't do that at all.
Mm-hmm. And so the thing about that too, Maisha, that you're saying about the sacrificing and the being in the relationship and dropping everything that you love and doing everything that he wants to do and being the woman that you think he should be. So even now, when I think about it, when we are single, right? Like we're not in relationship, we're not in a committed relationship. We do our own thing. We do what we want. We move how we want. We work out. We do whatever. And then, and this is to the younger people now.
Mhm.
We think that because our grandparents are still together, that's what they did. And maybe it
Right.
is, right? Maybe it is. But honestly, when you lose yourself in a relationship and then you get out of that said relationship and you're out here, you're doing your own thing, you're living your best life, you're having a great time, you find a great guy, and now you want to try it again. But then you find yourself slipping back to those
Mhm.
old ways. Now I'm doing what he wants me to do. Now I'm not going to the gym. Now I'm not. What I'm saying is, it's very important to really work on yourself when you identify that that is how you are in relationships.
Yep.
You get out of the relationship, you work on it for 2 years, then you meet Mr. Right, and then you slide right back into it. And then you're
Yep.
out of a relationship again, and you're in this cycle because you never really worked on it
Right.
Mhm.
in relationship with another person,
Yep.
only by yourself. And you're telling
Mhm.
yourself and you're judging yourself and you're measuring yourself, thinking that you have grown and dealt with the issue, but you really haven't because it hasn't been challenged by another person.
Yep.
And it's
Mm.
time. It takes time and practice for you to get it. And you may be 50 by the time you finally get it.
Mhm.
By the time you finally say, "Damn, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna have this relationship, and I'm gonna have my own schedule, and my own
Yes.
hobbies, and the things I like to do, and I'm gonna be a bomb partner for someone else." So,
Partner. Ear
Yeah.
Hustler says, hello, we miss y'all on Clubhouse.
Oh,
oh,
hi.
Who are you? Who are you, Ear Hustler?
we
That's
miss
funny.
you too.
That's really funny. I was on there this morning, but that's a whole nother conversation. Dr. Jamisia, I love what you said that because the stuff doesn't, it doesn't happen in a bubble. And for those of you who are like, if you're looking to be in a relationship, there are things that you're just not gonna learn, like a committed, what we think of as relationship. There are things you're not gonna learn until you're in it.
Yep.
Like it's just not gonna happen until you get there. And it's this idea of funny person saying that. I remember being on Clubhouse and people talking about relationships and we need to have relationships like our grandparents did. And I know the types of relationships my grandparents had, and I
Mhm.
absolutely would never want any of that
Right.
abuse and nonsense and fuckery.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. Right. There's too much violence.
And
So
it
Yeah.
was
what
out of necessity.
out of necessity. And I
Yeah.
think that we think that because we saw them together for 70 years, some of us don't realize that they slept in separate bedrooms.
Mhm.
Some of us don't
Mm.
realize that they actually didn't talk to each other because we were spending time with one or the other, even if they were in
Mhm.
the same house, right? We were hanging out with grandma, we were hanging out with grandpa. Some of us don't realize that the reason that our grandmothers were still there was because they couldn't get any money in their name, right?
Nope.
Bank account, no nothing. And
Nope.
so this was what they had, as though those women had no dreams or aspirations for what they wanted to do with their
Exactly.
lives, but they took what was given to them and made it brilliantly beautiful. So I don't assume, especially given my grandparents, I don't assume that everybody's grandparents were just like excited to be happily in love and together forever. They just didn't have nowhere to go and they had no choice.
Yeah.
Not all of them, y'all.
Right, right, right.
But some of them.
Right.
Some of them. Well,
Some of
I
our
mentioned,
parents were like that.
well, yeah, my parents didn't, like, not to put their business out there, but they didn't like each
I
other
mean, you're
that
not going
much.
to get divorced, right? If you're Catholic, you're not getting divorced, but you're just going to stay
Right.
together, right?
They
You're just
they
going to
they
raise
stayed
kids.
together because they were not going to get a divorce. End of story, right? Um, so I mentioned last week that, yeah, I had a date with my brother and his wife. It was actually a very, very beautiful reunion, and something that my brother said, which was incredible. Um, he's married over 20 years. I don't think they hit the 25-year mark yet, but their daughter just went away to college last year, so she's in her second year of college, and she's dorming at school. So it's just the two of them. But when people ask my brother, "How are you?" My brother's like, "I'm amazing." They're like, "How can you say this?" He's like, because two reasons," he said. One, my wife loves me and respects me. Two,
Mm,
my daughter loves me and respects me. I'm
Oh,
the
yeah.
luckiest guy in the world,
that's
he says.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. I don't think
Mhm.
I've ever heard anybody say that.
Yeah.
And she's standing there like, they look like kids in love. And it was so lovely to see, because when the kids go away, you kind of wonder, do I really like this guy? Because we spent the
Mhm.
last 18 years caring for another human being,
Right.
and they really like each other.
Oh, that's the
Well,
goal.
and you
That's
know what? I take that back, because he didn't say I have a wife who loves me and respects me. He says, I have a wife who loves me and likes me. That's what he said. And he said, I have a
powerful.
daughter who loves me and likes me. That's what he said.
Mm. That's
And
big.
that's
That's
and that
huge.
huge, huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this day and age, in our age group, he's Gen X, just like us. I've never heard of anybody say that. Not after being married 2 decades.
Shoot, no, no, barely after 3 years.
How about it?
People talk about, "Oh, the honeymoon lasts." It's like, nah, the
How
honeymoon
about it?
has been over. That is a beautiful thing, and I think that's the goal really for people who are, and I say people who are looking for that because like I said, I'm there's this idea that we're all supposed to want that type of structure and relationship, and I do think most people do. I'm not like, there are polyamorous people who are always like, no, most people aren't monogamous. I don't know what most people are. I don't know what most people aren't. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with someone who says, I want to have someone and spend the rest of my life with them. That
Right.
for me to judge that is the same as someone judging me if I say I'm not looking for that. And then they'd be like, something wrong? You have daddy issues? Is there why wouldn't you want to spend the
Right.
rest of your life
Yeah.
with one person? We
Yeah.
all have our different structures that we're looking for. But if you are looking for that, I think that is the desire, right? Is to have that last and to have that love and respect, even if you're with multiple people, to
Mm-hmm.
still have that love and respect and consistency and that companionship and that fun. At this age, we're not talking about who's paying bills, these petty things. Like it's like,
Mhm.
we got doctor's appointments to go to. Let's be real about it. You know what I mean? I had my mammogram this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The smushing. Yeah, we have things that we're talking about. This guy that I'm seeing, we're talking about, he had to go get the colonoscopy or whatever. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like these are the conversations we're having at
Mm-hmm.
this age. So we're
Yeah.
looking to have fun
Not
the rest
sexy,
of
but
our
it
lives.
is.
Listen, we're looking to have fun the rest of our lives. Can you make me laugh? Can we have good food? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We only have so many summers left. I'm not talking about socks on the floor at we're not doing that at this age.
Right. Right.
But pick your socks
Yeah.
up though.
Yeah, but and to answer the question, are modern relationships built to last? Yes and no.
Right.
You get to choose. You get to
You get to
choose. And
choose.
the craziest thing about that is we give that choice away.
Mm.
We get to choose. If you want to be, like Maisha said, if I want to be in a polyamorous relationship, okay, that's what I'm choosing. And that's going to last for me. And if I myself want to be in a monogamous relationship, that's what I get to choose. And when I choose differently, I choose differently. And it's okay.
Dr. J, I want to take that to another level, right? So modern relationships, are they built to last? They can last forever, but what does it look like? It might change at some point. Take you and your
It will. It
ex-husband.
should.
Your relationship that you built has lasted. It just looks very different right now. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really had a terrible, terrible breakup. And my relationships with these men continued. It just looked very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
So that
I
part
like that
too.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The friendship can. The after all of that
Yeah.
can. Well, for people who
Yeah.
are mature, but let me not get started on that right now
Yeah,
because
people who are mature, and that goes back to that goes back to loves me, likes me, and respects me, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
something like that, when I break up, if I respected you as another human being, there's no reason why a relationship, it might look completely different, but it will transcend that, and we can keep moving as two human beings that respect each other. So hey, listen, let me just let me know that you're okay. That sometimes every once in a while, that's the phone call or the text that goes through. Are you okay? Great. Talk to you in
Right.
another 5 years. I think Maisha, you had one of those
Yeah.
that you
Oh
were
yeah,
telling us about.
yeah. Well, yeah, we call them like orbits or something. Like they come around, they come back, but the connection is there. I have people in my life like that. Like the
Yeah,
connection is still there. They're with someone else. I respect that, but the
right.
connection is
Mm-hmm.
still there.
Correct.
They could be single. I have somebody swinging back in, but and I think that we we discount that as well. So yes, relationships can be built to last. They might look different. Ear Hustler asks, do the people in the relationship have the patience to endure themselves and each other? Let me answer this. Let me tell you something.
Love that.
And I sent this to you all about menopause and how it affects women's brains.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that we're going through is like it's like puberty again, right? So we're shifting into another way of being. And admittedly, my patience is so long in the sense that I don't argue with people. I don't get upset with folks. Everybody's in their own bubble doing their own thing. So on that, I have a lot of patience.
Mhm.
The closer, but inside, like the closest circle, I do no, I don't. I don't have patience for foolishness. I don't have patience for ignorance. I don't have a lot of patience for those types of things where I would have like let the rope go a little longer before. So being in a relationship with someone, the one thing that I do wonder is like my patience level for certain things, because I'm gonna still be me, you're gonna still be you,
Yeah.
but we're gonna grow, right?
Mhm.
And I need to be able to respect how you're growing. The thing is if you're growing in a way that I sense that you know what, I know I'm not gonna be the best for you, I'm happy to let you go.
Mm.
And
So yeah,
I'm sorry, I
so
don't want to cut you
no,
off.
go ahead.
No, and I want to answer his question, or her question, whichever. I would like to say, as far as patience, patience comes with maturity. Patience
Yeah.
comes with desire.
Yeah.
Patience comes with you understanding that, okay, I will have patience because I want to have patience. And I do believe that we often lack patience because we, number one, want everything to be quick, fast, and in a hurry. That's the society we live in.
Mhm.
Number two, we want everything to go our way sometimes. We're very
Okay,
narcissistic,
that
very
part.
self-centered. Number
Mhm.
three, we don't have time for that. Look, I could be on to the next one. I got so much that I can choose from out here
Mhm.
in this modern society. So we lack patience. So again, I think that it's a choice on how our relationships turn out, the bottom line.
I
Okay, so
agree.
I think that sounds like a
Mhm.
good place for us to the mic has been dropped. I don't think there's anything else for us to say behind that. Carmel, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, the answer to the question is it depends all upon you. Nobody else, not the relationship, and not even the other person in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
you check in for yourself. Is your are you built to last
Oh,
You
that
through
built to
part.
whatever kind of relationship
That part.
you
And
desire?
yes, and not to start this topic over, because
No,
let me tell you
go
something.
ahead.
Not to start this over, just so y'all know, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit of my tea. Uh no, I was not built to last in several of the relationships I was in, FYI. But hey, it is what it is. I've grown.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't
And
either.
you could see I'm not. Never even had a
Yeah,
ring on my finger. So
I wouldn't either. But and here's the like the difference being, it's like that is something that, and Carmel does too. Like that's something that was like, I want this. What do I need to do to grow in order to have this? Right. Versus me right now at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let me see what it's like maybe to be alone and lonely or something. Cause I've
mm,
always had someone in my face. They're all still here. let me maybe if I had that experience, I might see things differently. But Carmel, like you've
mm,
never had the experience of having a ring on your finger. I've never had the experience of not having someone to take care of. And so
mm.
it would make sense that I'm like, no, I just don't want to.
Mhm.
Right. But let's see what happens. Ear Hustler said, I'm 55. I have no patience for foolishness. I get that. Thank y'all. You're
Mhm.
so welcome. All right. Well, look, so go check yourself before you wreck yourself. Dating ourselves right now. We are
It's all
Black
good.
Coffee, Honey, and we are Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. Look, just turn your notifications on. Okay, we'll be here on Fridays. We try to get on at 12:30, but life does what it does. So anywhere between 12:30 and 2, just turn on a notification. That way you know when we have shown up and we have arrived. And we will see you next Friday with another very exciting topic and more tea.
Yeah. Bye, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Share us
And
out.
notifications.
All right, y'all. Let me just turn this off.
Turn it
Every
on.
time I go to do it, y'all. Sorry, because I know
No,
we're still live, but
no. Turn it
my
on.
It's all
55
good.
year
They
old
just
self.
get to watch a little bit extra.